Hi, I'm with Anthony McMullan from Homemaker Properties here today, and we're going to be talking about buy-to-let properties. Now, Anthony, every investor, when they buy a buy-to-let property, needs to know some fundamental information. Now,
Absolutely.
I understand you, as a letting agent, you also help investors source properties and give them the top tips on things to look at, like return on investment, not getting emotionally involved and things like that. Do you want to give everybody some top tips on buy-to-let investments?
There's a funny story. Well, not so much funny, but thankfully they didn't make the mistake they made. But I had an investor once. He said, "Oh, Anthony, I found this fantastic property. It was in a certain location in Coventry." He says, "Oh, I'll be able to get this many rooms. It's going to be fantastic. Don't have to spend too much money on it. It's been let out in the past and all these different." I says, "Right, okay. So where is the property?" And he told me the location. He says, "Right, well, who are you going to rent it to?" "Well, these people are students." And I says, "Right, that's 2.5 miles, 3 miles from the university. Did you go to university?" He says, "Well, yeah, of course I did." I says, "Well, did you want to just roll out of bed at 5 to 9 for your 9 o'clock lecture, or did you want to have to travel 2.5 miles down the road?" But there's a great opportunity. And I says, "Right, the key thing is, with the lesson that was learned by this, obviously it was one of their first ones, they'd gone out, they'd find it themselves, but they didn't have a checklist. They didn't have that checklist of all the things to make sure that it's a business decision that you're making. It's not just a hobby."
No.
That's the key thing, as you know and I know, we preach this every month.
Absolutely.
You treat this as a business and you treat it serious and you take every decision. You have to go through a long list of different things to make sure it's the right decision. And location. Who are you going to rent it to if you're going to rent it out?
Yeah.
You're going to flip it, and realistically, the work's going to need to be done. Plus, what's it's going to be worth at the end? Is it feasibly going to make you that much money, or are you just going to come out the same money as you put in at the start? Whole array of different things. So, location, for in particular in Coventry, is very critical. So, for example, if you're looking to let to university students, whether it be Coventry or Warwick, certain areas, so for example in Coventry it would be CV5 or CV1 or CV2. Who are your target market? Then if you're looking to do certain improvements to the property, so you then think to yourself, okay, well I'm going to spend £3,000 putting en suites in each of the rooms, so £3,000 each room. Okay, so how much more is that going to make you in CV2? How much more is that going to make you in CV5? And you'll then realise, okay, well it's going to make me an extra £150 here, £100 there. It may be worth buying in this location rather than that location.
It's a fundamental economic.
Yeah, there's caps on certain areas, and obviously the budget's a different type of people, because it may well be this side of Coventry, it's more postgrads and young professionals, whereas it's just solely undergraduates at that side of Coventry. These are different things you need to bear in mind. Obviously, the market itself and the target market when you're looking to buy the property. So if you're looking to buy a property, let's say for example in November, okay, and it's a student-only property. So it's going to take 3 months. So let's say January it's finished via the purchase, you've got your property, and it needs a few little tweaks here and there. What students are looking for properties in February? None.
It's not the optimal time of market.
So the key thing is you want to then, because you're exposing yourself, yes, property is a long-term investment. So if you think to yourself, look, I'm happy to take the hit for those couple of months, get what I can until the September, and then let it on 12-month tenancies. Because you then look at it goes around in circles, and the fact that it's probably going to be cheaper buying at that time, which is the lesser popular time to buy a property, and then you're saving your money but you're recouping that. There's lots of different things to look at, and obviously then when you walk into a property with new legislation, you've got to consider the fact of are the room sizes going to fit with the type of strategy you're going to go for. If not, what work's going to need to be done? Do you need planning permission? Do you need to get building regulations involved? Are you going to be putting an extension in? Do you need to put double glazing? Wiring, is it done to electronic, modern standards? Yeah. Has it got smoke alarms? Has it got thumb turn locks? Has it got emergency lighting? Has it got all of these things? And if not, add them onto your list of all the things you need to make sure that get done. And then the cost, because then if you run through all the money that's going to be costing, you've then got to think, right, how much money is this going to make me per month once it's done? Realistically, don't fib to yourself.
It's no fibbing it, because
no,
the bank account's empty, it's empty.
Exactly, because if you've got one room empty, all of a sudden you're just breaking even. It's not a business. It's not going to work well. Now, obviously, legislation-wise, you need to make sure it's fire safe, all these different things. But don't, think on the worst side of it every time. Think about the fact of make sure you go through your list. But if it ticks all those, fantastic, go for it. Don't hesitate, because I've seen that so often as well. I'll never forget this property I found, Humber Road, I think it was. You see the side of Coventry. It was like a 70s disco.
Yeah.
It was all the carpets. It was beautiful. But it was one of those that you think to yourself, spend a lot of money renovating it. The increase in value will be sufficient to probably cover what you've spent on it or go a long way towards it.
Yeah.
And it's then in a prime location, but the investor says, oh, I might need to come and have a look at it. I'll come and look at it on Saturday. Next day, you're gone. So again, don't be hesitant if it ticks all the boxes. Don't be afraid to take that big step as well. Another thing to consider with it as well.
That's brilliant advice. And it's really important, if you're buying a buy-to-let property, to get as much expert advice as you can. And Anthony is a brilliant resource for that at Homemaker Properties. So you can contact him on homemakerproperties.co.uk,
Yep.
website just down here. And you're also available at the Great Property Meet on the third Monday of every month.
Absolutely.
And you can come along, quiz Anthony, he gladly share. You
I
very
don't like
often
people
take
making mistakes. I don't like people making
No.
mistakes. And if they come to me and say, oh, what about this, what about that? I says, no.
Yeah.
Make sure you do it properly, because I can do anything that will ensure that it can save people hundreds and thousands if they don't do things properly.
Yeah, well, I know somebody who bought an investment property, not in Coventry, in another town, and they forgot to check whether it was an Article 4 area or not. And they went backwards and forwards to planners 3-4 times and got refused planning for a HMO in an Article 4 area because they hadn't checked the basics.
It's an expensive mistake.
A very expensive mistake.
Not a mistake I'd like to have made. No.
No,
Again, it's
so
another check on the list. So location, but obviously then local councils.
rules and regulations.
Absolutely.
So brilliant. So meet Anthony down at the Great Property Meet, third Monday of every month. The next meeting is on the 19th of November, where you can meet John Corey, who will be talking about how to raise private finance legally. And we're going to have a dynamic question and answer session with all of our experts on a panel. And we're going to have a lot of technology there with live reports happening on screen for you. So 19th of November, come and meet Anthony at the Great Property Meet. Thank you very much.
Thank you.